Hey, welcome to Outsmart Your Guitar. Glad you could join us. Today in Easy Theory, we're in part 3 on modes equals moods. We're going to round out the last 3 modes here, the Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Lorean modes, to help you understand what they sound like. All right, so let's just get right into it, and be sure to like and subscribe to Outsmart Your Guitar along the way. The Mixolydian mode is the 5th degree of the Ionian mode. We're in A for the Ionian mode, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or A, B, C sharp, D, E. So you'll notice our root tone is E. Up in the upper left-hand corner, you see the Mixolydian mode, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D, and then the octave E. So here at the 12th fret is where we'll be playing the first position of the Mixolydian mode, which is in the lower left-hand corner. You'll notice the finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, has your first finger at 11, your second finger at 12, your third finger at 13, your fourth finger at 14. They are pretty much assigned to those frets, except until you get to the second string, you have a slight shift, which we'll talk about as we get there. All right, so you start with your second finger at 12, right? Now, you can open up your thumb, instead of having it closed up like this, open it up to around the 10th fret, 9th or 10th fret, somewhere in that neighborhood. And that will allow your fourth finger to hit the 14th fret on the 6th and 5th strings far more easily. So again, here we are at 12 on the 6th string with your second finger, fourth finger at 14, first finger at 11 on the 5th string, second finger at 12, fourth finger at 14, first finger at 11 on the 4th string, let's see, second finger at 12, fourth finger at 14, on the 3rd string, your first finger's at 11, your third finger at 13, fourth finger at 14. Here's where you shift up 1 fret on the 2nd string at the 12th fret with your first finger, and your third finger at 14, fourth finger at 15, to complete on the 1st string at 12 with your first finger, the 2nd octave. Descending, you play it backwards. Same fingering, and the shift point will be just a slight bit different this time. Here's your shift point, fourth finger at 14 on the 3rd string. Okay, so pause the video, practice this, ascending and descending. Make sure you get it smoothed out, get comfortable with the fingering and the shift point, and really pay attention to how it sounds as well. All right? The Aeolian mode is the 6th degree of the Ionian mode. So we have the Ionian mode in A throughout this series. So 6 degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp. So we know F sharp is the root tone for the Aeolian mode. In this case, we're up here at the 14th fret, okay? And that is the 14. Now you'll notice in the diagram in the lower left-hand corner showing the pattern and shape of the Aeolian mode, first position, we have a 14 over 2. I'll get to the 2 thing in just a moment. So, you notice the fingering, 1, 2, 3, 4, but you'll also see we have a shift on the 3rd string and then a shift back on the 2nd string. We'll cover that as we go. So open your thumb up to around the 11th or 12th fret so that you can play this. This is pretty tight quarters, and it's good to learn to do that, so that's why we're starting way up here. First finger at 14 on the 6th string. 3rd finger at 16, 4th finger at 17. I know, it's tight. Move your 1st finger over to the 5th string at 14, 3rd finger at 16, 4th finger at 17, 1st finger on the 4th string at 14, 4th finger initiating the 1st shift at 16, on the 4th string so that your 3rd finger can reach back to 13 on the 3rd string, and your 2nd finger at 14, 4th finger at 16. Now you're going to shift back with your 1st finger to the 14th fret on the 2nd string, and your 2nd finger at 15, your 4th finger at 17, and end up on the 1st string at 14 with your 1st finger, the 2nd octave root. Descending, as always, is the same fingering in reverse. The pattern is just played backwards. 4th finger at 16 on the 3rd string, that's your 1st shift. 1st finger at 14 on the 4th string, that's your 2nd shift. All right, in the diagram, you'll see 14 over 2. Well, we just played at the 14th fret. Now, if you go back 12 frets, that's 2. So the 2 under the 14 means you can also do this at the 2nd fret. So I won't call out the fingering. I'll just show you, here's your starting place on the 2nd fret. First shift point on the 4th string at the 4th fret with your 4th finger. So reach back to the 1st fret on the 3rd string. Shift back to the 2nd fret on the 2nd string at 2. And in reverse. 4th finger at 4 on the 3rd string. 1st finger at 2 on the 4th string. All right? So anytime you're playing above the 12th fret, you can also play 12 frets lower. In this case, we're at 14 up there. We can play at 2 down here because that's 12 frets lower, right? And so makes it possible to play the first position here at the second fret. So you have two places on the fretboard where you can play the first position of this scale. Pause. Practice both at the 14th fret up and back and at the second fret up and back. You're going to have a lot more stretching here, right? So your thumb's going to want to be kind of sitting right there around the second fret to the third fret dot, somewhere in there on the spine so that you can reach all that stuff, right? Okay, have fun with it. Take a few minutes on each one to get comfortable. The Lorean mode is the 7th degree of the Aeolian mode. And so we've been playing the Aeolian mode in A. So we go up 7 degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp. G sharp is the 7th degree, and so the root tone of the Lorean mode. Now, we have a G sharp here at the 4th fret on the 6th string as well. And you'll notice in the upper left-hand corner, we have the notes of the Lorean mode laid out over 1 octave from G sharp to G sharp. In the lower left-hand corner is the scale pattern laid out. You'll notice the vertical 1, 2, 3, 4 fingering. Your first finger's at 4, second finger at 5, third finger at 6, fourth finger at 7. There's no shifting, so each finger has its own domain. All right? So we start at the 6th string on the 4th fret with the first finger. Second finger at 5, 4th finger at 7. Move to the 5th string with the first finger at 4, second finger at 5, 4th finger at 7. To the 4th string we go with the first finger at 4, 3rd finger at 6, 4th finger at 7. On to the 3rd string, first finger at 4, 3rd finger at 6, 4th finger at 7. Second string, second finger at 5, 4th finger at 7. And we round it out with the first finger on the 4th fret of the 1st string. Descending is exactly the same fingering backwards. Pause the video, practice this playing up and back. Smooth it out, get comfortable with it, and really listen to the sound of this scale. It's not typical sounding at all. And that's kind of the beauty of this, too. Okay, well, that's challenging, hey? So, yeah, here you go. The last 3 modes for you to explore and understand, to get a better handle on just what they're really all about. That's the whole point here, is to introduce you to the sound of the 7 fundamental modes. Here we have the Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Lorcian, so that you can see they're not hard to understand and they're not difficult to play. Now, again, as I've said previously, the challenge comes in fleshing out your understanding of any given scale. Here, we're just talking about modes. But any scale, and I mentioned the pentatonic minor scale, right? That at first you just played simply, but then as you got better, you started to explore the depths of what those 5 notes actually are able to produce. And now we're dealing with scales that have 7 tones associated with them. And what can they do for you? What can they do in the way of helping you expand your musical horizons? Because that's what learning is about in any subject, expanding your horizons, right? Expand my horizons, meaning extend my borders. Okay, so that's the challenge here, is now to take what you've been learning in these 3 segments on the 7 fundamental modes and expand your horizons. Expand, extend your borders. See what lies in what Shakespeare calls the undiscovered country. All right, that'll do for this time. Thank you so much for spending the time here to learn what I have to teach. It really does mean a lot to me. And you know, I got lots of stuff for you to peruse. So you go ahead and check out my other lessons and see what you can gain there as well. All right? In the meantime, you take care, and we'll see you soon.